Hey guys, glad to have you back this week. Before we get into this week's book and movie, please take a minute to click all those subscribe, notification, and like buttons so I can keep growing my small business here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave a comment because I value your feedback. Okay, this week it is World War Z, and I'm going to come right out of the gate and say it. If this book and this movie had different titles, I don't think anybody would connect them. The movie and its source material have that little in common. What they do have in common is a UN rep at the forefront. In the book, he's interviewing people from all over the world about 20 or so years after the zombie pandemic, getting their accounting of how this zombie pandemic took root in their corner of the world and how everyone there responded. This book does not read like a story. There's no continuity. There's one accounting in one part of the world, then the next chapter is an entirely different one. While there's plenty of travel in the movie, the book jumps all over the world, all over every continent, from the sticks to the big cities. It would do really well as an anthology-type miniseries like World War II in HD or Band of Brothers. It's all one chapter after another of this is what happened, this is where it happened, this is what was done. Also, there are literally almost no names within these pages, almost entirely told from the first person point of view. Like every single interviewee was talking into a recorder. And this video would take all day if I went down the laundry list of locations and events that are in this book, but not in the movie. In the movie, the UN rep at the forefront, Jerry, starts just another regular day with his family when the shit hits the fan completely out of the blue, as they listen to the news on the radio in the car about a rare rabies outbreak. This sudden attack looks like a lot of rabid people. They turn rabid almost immediately after being bitten, and they can run like the wind, climb over each other, and even put forth a concerted effort to pull down a helicopter with their bare hands. There is some travel, but not as much globe hopping as in the book. There are some military people and medical people brought into the story, but not as much as in the book. The biggest and most obvious difference between the book and the movie is the zombies. In the book, the infection takes weeks to turn a healthy person into a slow and stumbling reanimated corpse with nothing but an appetite. In the movie, it's just one bite and the infection takes over in a matter of seconds, like super rabies, and these zombies are super athletic in spite of themselves. While the movie runs its course rather quickly as another zombie-based action sci-fi horror movie with a sudden thrust into the calamity and a narrow escape from all the devastation, the book contains a few things that are kind of unusual and hard to forget. The first one is Patient Zero, out in Fish and Farm country in China. A 12-year-old boy who was bitten on the foot by something unseen while he was knee-deep in the river doing some fishing. The doctor telling the story noted his raggedly absent big toe that was not bleeding, and he recounts taking a blood sample from him, and it came out of his vein looking like used motor oil. And then when he went to break out of his restraints to attack, he literally broke and tore off his own arm trying to get out of those restraints, but did not react to it in a way that suggested he felt any pain. The second kind of hard to forget little detail from the book is it kind of answers the question as to, well, it's kind of an unasked question, but ever present, as to how an undead digestive system works. When a guy finds a zombie in his house whose pants are heavy with ABC human skin and muscle tissue. The last one being the complete overreaction of the North Korean government in the book by rendering every North Korean citizen toothless to prevent the spread of the pandemic through biting. And that pretty much covers World War Z. And since this was a little short but sweet, since there's like almost nothing in common, we have a few minutes for some viewer comments. Alright, let's see. On the disturbing novel Iceberg video I did last week, Andre Devia says, 120 Days of Sodom would be an interesting one indeed. So would I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. YouTuber Wendigoon made a great video delving into it. I am so glad you brought that to my attention. I watched that Wendigoon video. I like Wendigoon's work. And guess what I found out from that video? I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream made its way off the pages and into a video game. I'm not sure which format to find this video game, if it's something I would download onto my PC or my phone, or if I have to fire up the PS3. But anyway, now I have reason to make a video on I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and I am just stoked. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. And that is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back next week for Sleepy Hollow.